Yes, sir.
So for the past few weeks, I've been working on myself a lot. And from the both biblical questions you had, do you really know somebody, or what is real power? The last few weeks, I've been thinking about it a lot. And I've noticed that I have absolutely no control over anything.
Yeah.
Nothing that I do. I can't even control my breathing unless I'm conscious of it. I can't control the blood flowing through my body. I can't control my actions. It's listening to the conversation this morning, it just brings up to my attention that this past week, I guess at work, I noticed that if I'm around a certain person, I start getting these emotions flare up within me, and it's just it consumes me.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it consume me, and I can't stop it. Just to your point, I'm just trying to make a comment.
But you're absolutely right. In all honesty, now you can be on your little ego trips if you want to. Not one human being is in control of anything. We're not in control of ourselves. We're not in control of anything. Either we're being controlled by evil or we're being controlled by good. And you can only serve one. You can't serve both. If you're controlled by evil, then you're evil. You are evil. And nowhere around it. But once you overcome that, you're now controlled by good, you're good. And no, you're not in control of anything, never have been, never will be. You have never had your own thoughts. You have never had your own thought in your whole life. Something else is influencing you to think one way or the other. You're not in control. You're absolutely right. And as soon as you realize that you're not in control of anything, the quicker you'll become free.
And I've noticed that. And
Only an ego, people on an ego trip, especially intellectuals, they love to think that they're in control, and they're not. And everything is all messed up. You go to a counselor or a psychiatrist or something like that, they keep you there for a year. They have you come back every day and you talk about the same thing. Oh, I ate my mama. Oh, but didn't I say that last week? Well, tell me about how you hate your mama. But didn't I say that 6 weeks ago? And then they give you pills. They don't do anything to help you to make you free at all. They do not show you or point to a way to overcome the anger so you can be free. They don't have it. But they have all these degrees. They have degrees of the yang yang. Nobody knows what the yang yang is, right? But you're right. Nobody's in control. Not one person in this earth is in control of themselves. But you're right.
And lately, the silent prayer for me has just been getting more and more intense.
Nice.
Like, I just feel that the pain just gets stronger and stronger. And I notice that my body just, I want to like move, I want to do something. I want to pick up my phone, or I want to stand, I want to walk. It doesn't let me sit still.
Yeah.
And if I'm conscious about it, the more it's like, I can see it flaring up. I don't know, it's crazy.
Right on.
Can I also make a comment about the couple, the commanding the wife thing, if that's okay?
The woman that wanted her man to be alpha, and he
Yeah.
refused to be it.
Yeah. So, in my marriage, I noticed before when I was beta and I had no control over anything, it was just nothing but problems.
Yeah.
I thought I was being nice by letting her take control or whatever, and then I realized, this is my experience, that from her, my mom, my mother-in-law, no women, no matter what they say, wants to have control. They absolutely don't want to have control, and they want to see their man have control.
Yeah.
They want to be told
Women
what to
hate
do.
weak men.
They absolutely hate it. When they see weak, they get angry, and then they flare up, and then they hate men. But the reality is they want to see us men say yes, no, and put your foot down. So if you put your foot down and you tell them.
Right.
So if you put your foot down, there may be some resistance at first, but that's because they know you're right.
Yeah, it takes about 50 years.
Huh?
It takes about 50 years, and then you die.
Just about. Right when the life insurance expires, that's when
it's over.
That's when they act up.
But no, you're right about that. The right women want men to be right, and the right men want women to be right. And that's what especially if you want to get married and all that, you want them to be right. That's what makes a good family. Absolutely, man. Amazing. Well, how you?
I'm great. How are you?
How you been since you was up here talking the other day?
It has truly been a ride.
Meaning what?
There has been so many incidents where I have seen the devil just peek, just kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
I've seen it, and it is just incredible. It's been incredible.
Nice. Well, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. All right?
Okay.
It's funny, when you look at her, she look like she's so nice and just be a good wife, and a good friend. Look at her.
I know she looks like such a strong,
Right.
powerful individual, and I'm like, why are you at Alpha Male Central? You know what I mean? But I'm hearing what you're saying about like no free will. You're either controlled by this or that, and it's like, no wonder you think that men should control women because you think that all individuals are controlled by something else.
Meaning
you know what
what?
I mean? So it's like control, 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 control. It's just this whole cycle. So I guess it makes sense your logic why you would think that.
Do you think you're in control?
It's God to man to woman. But I'm so sorry. I I'm a lot stronger and smarter than a lot of men, and
I believe
so
that.
are a lot of women. This woman right here. So why should they be in control of me? I think that in partnerships, it definitely makes sense that there's a leader and a follower, but it switches up for every individual. And I think that, like, in certain, like this, you're just not like a pushy guy, which is great. You know what I mean? Like, that's
He's
just
not
you.
like a pushy guy.
No, like, I just think
Oh.
that, you know what, I think that this whole, like, hierarchy of control and
Right.
everything, it also, like, first, I think it's just, like, logistically flawed, but I also think that it kind of takes away a lot of accountability. And also, it's like, oh, well, if I'm no one and I didn't do any of my bad things, then I didn't do any of my good things either. And it's like, if you're not really doing anything, why are you here? You know
Have
what I
you
mean?
done bad things before?
Yeah,
You have, and why did you do them?
because I wanted to.
Why?
Because there were certain things that in that moment, it would have benefited me to do it.
Have
And I've
you-
also done a lot of great things, and I take credit for both.
Have you done bad things that would hurt you?
Yeah,
And why
but
did you?
not always hurts me, actually.
Why did you do bad things that would hurt you?
Because it had benefits in the moment.
So you wanted to do the bad things?
Yeah.
Are you in control of your own life?
I control certain things that I do. I make conscious choices. I don't control a lot of things, and all of this, like, I don't control my circumstances per se, but I control what I do with my circumstances.
Are you in control of your own life?
That's a loaded question. Like I said, I'm not in control of my circumstances. I'm in control of what I do with them.
And so are you in control of your own life, though?
To a certain extent.
Why not all the way?
Because, like I said, and, like, I think that, like, it's just kind of like you're making, like, such a, like, strong statement when it should be, like, a little bit more, like, fuzzy. Because, like, again, like, you control your choices and your interpretations to a certain extent, but you can't control all of the external influences.
And why not? If you're in control of your own life, why? And I'm not talking about anyone else,
Yeah,
only
yeah.
you, right? And what happens in your life, no one else's life. If you are in control of your life, why aren't you in control of everything concerning your life?
Well, it's kind of like the nature versus nurture thing. There's a lot of things that are, like, affected by your genetics, which is out of your control, and then your environment, which is out of your control. But then you control how you react.
Well, I'm not
to
talking
that.
about the environment or the genetic thing. I know physically you may have issues that have nothing to do with you, right? But why aren't you in control of your entire life?
Okay, if you ask me, do I want to put my right foot out or my left foot out? I'm gonna make a choice. It's not like the devil telling me to do that.
But I'm not asking you that. Those are practical choices, whether you want to put your left foot out or right foot out. But why aren't you in control of your own life?
Because there are certain things that people can't control. I'm not saying that people can control everything.
What can't you? What one thing that you cannot control, other than put your left foot out, your right foot, blah blah blah, right?
I can't, like, control if I get cancer. Like, it hits random people. I can't control if they want to become a couple. I can't control that. Like, that's fine.
But how about your life?
in my life I can't control if a teacher doesn't like me
Can
to a certain
you-
extent. There are things,
Can
but
you
also it's
give
just like,
us-
why would someone be alive if they're just being controlled by something? Like, why should they be alive? What's
Well-
the point? If you're not making any choices, your thoughts aren't your own, why would you want to, what's the point of that? Like, you're just a sheep at that point. You're just a living entity being controlled by someone else. And so it's like, it doesn't make life under that framework sound very fun or purposeful.
I totally understand what you're saying, especially being so young. I do understand, but I want to come back to that. So I want to do something else real fast because of time, but I want to come back to that, right? Don't let me finish without that. Joel, you had your hand, and then this young lady. Yes.
Yeah, I understand what she's saying about the hierarchy thing. What the lady
The
saying.
what?
The hierarchy thing. She says she doesn't believe in the hierarchy, like the man over woman, woman. And I understand what she means.
Don't
But
be all- what do you understand about it?
well, let me get to it. Is that she thinks it doesn't exist because she's seeing people abuse it. She's not seeing it done properly. But if it happens naturally and people do it right, then she would realize that it's supposed to naturally flow that way. And it doesn't mean that you boss people around, doesn't mean that they're a puppet. But how she's seeing it as 20, and the guys around, the relationships around, and what these like quote unquote alpha males are learning, they're learning it, but they're abusing it because they think it's something that it's not. So that's what
okay.
she's seeing. But if it's done in the natural way, which most people don't see, then they would realize that, oh, there is an order to life. So
I understand what you're saying. Ooh, you like that? I understand what you're saying. But that's not the reason, though.
It's true. I think more just like,
See?
I mean, it's in a certain sense, yes, but it's more just like, you could say that there are alpha and beta individuals, but I've met a lot of men that are stupid and should not be given a platform or any power. Like, that's just how it is. And then there are
know
women that
some
should be given
alpha-
platform and power because they're smart and they're practical and whatever the fuck. Like, it's just,
Is
Well-
it possible to be an alpha female?
that's the thing. If you're gonna say alpha female, alpha male, beta male, what about females? Like, it's not
Is it
male
possible
to
over
be a
female.
alpha
It's
female?
one person over the other person.
How
It's a
about-
smart person over a
Oh, I see
stupid
what you
person.
said. So there's no such thing as an alpha male or alpha female.
No, it's
I-
a
I
leader
I
versus a
agree with that.
follower.
I agree. It's just a word made up by the young people.
Yeah, I don't.
It's made up by the weak guys.
That's the thing, because a lot of, I just know too many stupid, weak men to be like, yeah, men know more. Men should
Right.
be in charge. Like, I'm sorry, but no, I should. Like,
I understand.
you know?
I understand.
But yeah, so.
The reason is not because of the example she sees around her. Is she didn't get that with her father.
No,
It started with the father first. No,
And he's dumb.
but that's not good though. He's not supposed to be super controlling. He is supposed to be right. And being right, he doesn't have to control you or anyone because he's being controlled by what is right, and so will his family. You can't control another person and expect things to come out right, to turn out right. And so that it started with that.
He has to be right, and I have to be right. We should all be right.
That's right.
The standards should be the same for everybody.
And if the father is right, I promise you,
No.
has your father been right, you will be right today.
And if my mother was right, it's not just on
Absolutely.
the father, not just
Well,
on the mother. It's like
from-
these are
ho-
two.
Hold
two
on a
black
minute.
and
It's from
white.
the whole. It's the family. If the father's right, the family gonna be right.
No. It's not the father is the backbone of the family. I don't agree with that either.
I understand
It's
that.
a
I
partnership
totally
of
understand
two
that.
individuals. Literally couldn't make a child without both people.
I
so
totally understand why you think that way. Keep on living.
Thank you.
Really. Let me do this because of time. Maybe you had a question.
That look you saw was not a question.
Oh, okay.
That was not a question.
What was it?
Yeah, well, you know what? Actually, it is a question. So to the young lady that said that she's very empathetic and she's very compassionate, it's interesting because you pick and choose who you're compassionate to, and you pick and choose who you fight for. You just said men are stupid and that some of them, lots of them are stupid, and you're smarter than them, and you deserve to be in a position and not be told what to do. And this is no judgment, because I had to check it. I had to check it at the door, because I know that the devil is real and hell is nothing to play with. And so I try really hard to check myself, because I don't want that inside of me. But I say that because if you don't care for one, you don't care for any. So if it's only the homeless person or the woman that doesn't speak up, but yet she's smarter and she has more master's degrees, and all of a sudden some man got promoted, if you only care for her but you don't care for him, it's interesting, because that's not kind of how it works. But I mean, maybe you can rationalize it. That's what the purpose of all that intellect is so that you can explain it. But what it looks like to me, and again, I hope I'm checking myself at the door, but what it looks like to me is that you stay busy being busy. And if you are able to be still, you won't necessarily look at everyone else all the time. You'll be able to see what's going on inside yourself. And for me, again, you have no reference to who I am. I think you're a wonderful person for even coming here with your mom. I think it's a great way to spend Mother's Day. I just am observing, you know. I know what it's like to have a lot of hell inside. And it's not the peace that you think it is.
Yeah, she's gonna forgive her parents. She'll be fine. Yes. Why you sitting there all prim and proper and not saying anything? And
No, I'm listening. I'm listening.
oh, okay.
And
Any question about anything?
I don't have any questions. I do have a comment, though. You know, I'm listening in a different way now, Jesse. And when I listen to people speak now, and this is since doing the silent prayer and a recent occurrence, I'm listening from the perspective of not what they're saying about them, but how does it apply to me?
Yeah.
And that helps me to stay away from judgment, because I agree with what Mae Mae was just saying. You know, we're those of us who are here and understand this and have been into it for a while, and even the newcomers, we understand that judgment is not where we want to be. It's a very dangerous place. We don't want to be there.
Anyone that judge is evil. And
Absolutely.
that person cannot be trusted.
To
That
this,
person is a murderer.
absolutely. And to what this young lady was saying, there are a couple of comments I have. First of all, she reminds me a lot of myself when I was 20. Very opinionated, very defensive, and that was who I'm talking about myself, and what came up to me as she was speaking. And through being that way, I allowed emotions to impede me from hearing.
Right.
So that's the first thing. And the other thing is, I understand her perspective in terms of the men in this generation, because there's such a blurring of the lines. And young people today, it is a challenge to find, where are the alpha men? Where are the men who are not putting on dresses and putting on nail polish and makeup and saying that's okay? So I do understand her perspective on that front. And I just want to say, you know, keep living. Like Jesse was saying, keep living. She's got a lot of growing to do. She'll look back and say,
Well,
wow.
she's going to be fine after the day. She's going to be a little rebel for a while longer. But she heard the truth today. She knows that she's going to forgive her parents. And that's just the beginning. We got to start somewhere. So
Absolutely.
She'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And like I said, I'm
She's
not
gonna be
at all
every time she
coming.
come to town, she'll be here.
Sure, hopefully.
She's going to be calling me to find out, are you sure it's starting on time? Oh, you'll be back.